friends, companions on the quest for eternal life. Join us in the temple of Isis at Clonigall Castle, that we may enact one of the most ancient mysteries of all time, the mystery of the awakening of Osiris by the goddess Isis, his wife. You are in your time and space, and I am a voice from the future and another space. I am Olivia Robertson of the Fellowship of Isis, and I offer to be your guide in a mystical journey to the land of Ireland. You feel yourself now happy and joyful, comfortable in your own world, but you long for something greater, something wonderful that has been awaiting you all these years, and this is the time. No, it's your time. You're going to come into the future. You are my future. I am your past. Rise from your body. Ascend from where you are. And I want you to take a journey into the past, into Ireland, at Samhain, Halloween, the 31st of October, the beginning of the mysteries of Isis and Osiris, which were enacted at that time in the temples of Egypt with their mighty columns. Their hieroglyphs speaking the mysteries. Visualize the great temples, the pyramids and the Sphinx. But now, after thousands of years of persecution and neglect, at the end of the Piscean age of passivity and piety, good in its own way, we now reach the Aquarian age of originality, of joy, of finding your own self, finding the God, the goddess within you and within others. Rise then and take my hand, and find yourself floating over the land of Ireland, where the ancient mystery is reborn. You look down, you see 2 rivers, and many, many trees, and in a hidden valley is an ancient grey castle, and it is the eve of Samhain, the ancient Gaelic festival, and the Gaels are descended from the Princess Scota, wife to Gaelglas, wife to Neil, mother of Gaelglas, who gave his name to all the Gaels. Isis is of 10,000 names of all races, of all religions, and therefore yours. You see something strange happening now. You see there's a rainbow glow of etheric light about the castle. We now approach a stately avenue, like unto Dendera, of high trees, not rams, but trees reaching into the sky, and some of the evening stars are showing, and we recognize Iran and in the south Sirius, low on the horizon. And we approach the castle and mount some steps. 2 halberdiers stand on either side, the temple guardians. They challenge us. They ask us what we are about, and I reply to these etheric guardians, Anubis, and I say we have good intention, may we enter. So Anubis and his companion permit us to pass, the jackal-headed god and his jackal-headed companion. We enter a stately hall and proceed down many, many granite steps, and we begin to hear the mystical and most ancient musical instrument, the rattle of many systems. We hear the distant sound of music. Now we descend and we come across a group of people by an ancient well, and they are gazing intently upon a woman veiled in black. We see she is in deep trance, and we know that what is awaited is the oracle of the goddess. The oracle ceased when Egypt fell to the Romans, but now they are returned. All are wearing the mighty crowns and diadems of Egypt, flowing robes, and there is a heavy scent of Egyptian kaifi, incense. The priest of Osiris, priest Hierophant, Lawrence Durden Robertson, stands forth holding a great shepherd's crook. He invokes the divine goddess that she may speak to us once more. He calls upon Isis of 10,000 names.
Who protecteth the soul with thy feathery wings of the kite, whose blood, enchantments, and power strengthen the soul. Inspire us with thy breath of the west wind, winged goddess, who concealeth thy brow with thy long hair. Spread thy hair of enchantment and shake it over the brow of thy devotees. Breathe into us thy breath of life and health and strength.
All wait in silence, hoping that the oracle will speak. Gradually, we hear a voice. It is through inspiration that you live. Without inspiration you are dead, devoid of the holy breath. Do not deceive yourselves. You cannot live forever, shut in the mummy cases of your own fantasies, however colourful they are, however compelling. For without inspiration, the colours will dim, the power lessen. No amount of stimulation from your thought or from your senses, no act of will can then bring life. You'll slowly sink into unconsciousness, and as your dreams become nightmares, you yourselves will fall victims to your self-created images of fear. Draw upon the breath of Isis, which is wafted to you and all beings through the rhythmic beating of her wings. This holy breath is for all. It is concealed, conserved, kept imprisoned in one place, within one person, even within one god or goddess. It is for all. And as it is for all, it brings all. open yourselves to the wind of inspiration, and you lose nothing but the hardening case of a coffin of outworn theologies and cramping laws. Instead, you will gain the riches of eternity and make better theologies, nobler laws. Allow truth to cleanse your minds as a strong wind bring renewal. For truth expresses herself as new understanding, and she may not be bound or blindfolded. This courage to face the unveiled truth means that you lose the sleep of non-entity. You breathe freely. You open your eyes fearlessly. You sit, you stand, then with the wings of Horus you fly with me. You use the many-colored winding sheet of dreams that once bound you as a robe, and you wear at will. Hear the call of Isis and awaken. The company, in silence, fold their hands in gratitude to the oracle, and slowly now make their way down a long line of columns to the high altar.
Lament with us, the god Osiris is dead. He lies in a chest made from the areca tree by his brother, the god Set, the skilful craftsman. Set painted it with coloured pictures marvellous to behold, and the heart of Osiris yearned for it, and he lay in it. But the chest was measured to the form of the body of Osiris, so that he could not escape, and so he died. Yet what dreams hath he in his sleep of death?
He liveth in dreams, he fleeth, yet his enemy killeth him many times. He is dismembered, and each fragment is scattered concealed throughout the 2 lands of Kem. And as he sleeps, his wife protects him.
We begin to see that the ritual drama is to be enacted. Suddenly, from the shadows of a temple, a woman most beautiful in soul, but full of grief, her head sprinkled with ashes, steps forth. This is Isis.
I repel his enemies and cause the deeds of the mischief maker to retreat in the power of my mouth. I take action for my husband while he is lost in dreams. I seek him without turning. I rove through the land as a wailing kite without rest until I find him and awaken him to life. I provide shade for his lost soul with my feathers, and I create wind with my wings that I may bring my husband to peace. I strengthen the weakness of him who is tired of heart. I have borne an heir, Horus, and suckled the infant in solitude, the place where he is unknown.
Now Isis conducts the great search for Osiris. She wanders through this cavernous temple. She looks into many nooks and crannies and places, but in vain. Her husband is dead. She looks from place to place, and as she does so, all the company mourn the death of Osiris and utter the immemorial cry, Osiris is dead. May Isis bring him to life. They chant the words, Isis, Isis. They chant all those who are bereaved, who has lost those they love, in the darkness of death, take up the chant. But now they chant on Osiris, to make himself known, to be restored. Osiris, The company now follow Isis, who sinks upon the ground in desperation, and they meditate on where can Osiris be, where is their own true love. Let us meditate and seek to see the form in vision of our own lost loves. Lo, as all those who suffer grief at lost have strengthened Isis in her search, in her wandering she comes upon a dark and gloomy dungeon with a light in the sky, so a beam of light falls upon the body of Osiris, and it is imprisoned in a tree.
Osiris in his sleep of death heareth the words of Isis and of her search. Memory cometh unto him.
Lo, love awakeneth in my heart for my wife. I know myself to be Osiris, yet am I but the living dead when I have the knowledge, but cannot it move even one finger? Who will call me into life with magic words of power?
Now comes the mystical dance of Isis, which called forth the inner power of the god Ra, as a serpent bite coursing through the blood. Isis begins a mystical dance to call forth Buto, the cobra, within her own body, and therefore within the body of Osiris. She dances, and all the company perform the dance of the cobra, that inner fire of life may awaken. Dance, dance with the company, dance with movements that you once knew, and draw up from the depths of the earth where Osiris is imprisoned, the inner fire within the earth. Feel it rising, rising up your body, up your spine, drying your tears, up to your heart. Feel it. And as she does so, suddenly Isis remembers she is not a weeping, mourning widow, but a goddess. And as she does that, she lifts up her arms to the sky, and white power comes down upon her head. It falls down her in an inverted cone and reaches her heart. It reaches below, and then her heart awakens, and the 8-pointed star of Isis shines about her. Now that she herself knows she is a goddess within, she is empowered to awaken the dead. She now calls to Osiris and to all humanity to awaken.
Come to thy house, come to thy house, O Godon. Come to thy house that thou may seest me. I am thy wife whom thou lovest. Thou shalt not part from me, O fair youth. Come to thy house. Yet dareth my heart yearn after thee, and my eyes desire thee. Come to her who loveth thee, Nineveh, blessed one. Come to thy wife, come to thy wife. Come to thy house and to thy wife. I am the twin of thy soul, for we too are the children of the goddess Nut, whose starry body archeth across the sky of night. Thou art in verity the shepherd with the crook that guardeth the starry flocks of darkness. With my white star I follow thee as thee sinketh into the depths of the western ocean at the end of the world. Gods and men have buried their faces towards thee and weep for thee together. I call after them and weep. Yet am I thy wife whom thou didst love. My lover, my lover.
As she speaks, Osiris begins to awaken from that death which we call existence on earth.
I see myself in many dreams of many names and forms. I hear the call of my beloved Isis, and I call my many souls unto me, and I name them, for all are Osiris. May all of these be awakened within me, for are they not my kin?
As Osiris slowly awakens from the dreams which we call life into memory of past incarnations, Isis also begins to remember and falls on her knees as memory comes, memories of many lives and memories of heaven. Let us join her in this awakening memory of past and future. of the dead, we begin to see the form of those we loved, coming to us from Amenti, no longer invisible. The dead awaken, for they live, and we who think we live are awakening into life. We were priestess in Egypt, priests in Greece, lovers in Babylon, students in Atlantis, monks, nuns, sinners, saints. The Great Awakening is at hand. As we draw towards the pylons of initiation, sorrow is turned into wonder as arms are stretched to us to aid us awaken. We need their love. The mightier form of the goddesses and goddesses now are gleaming in the distance like far-off mountains, and they are surrounded by aureoles of colour, beauty. We begin to see the stars. We awaken. The awakening is so strange. We're afraid we are going to forget what we were 5 minutes ago. We can see, we can hear, we can laugh. And all the suffering, all the wrongdoing, brought us the experience for this moment of time is all our experience. We learn from Thoth, Anubis. We learn the justice of Mars. We understand the passions of Set, the love of Isis, the gentleness of Nephi. For all these are within ourselves. Feel that. Friends, we become aware after our meditation that we are still in the temple of Isis, gazing upon the dead body of Osiris, who is slowly awakening, remembering many lives, many loves, wrongdoing, well-doing, violence, and gentleness. But now, as we begin to awaken, we can see the forms of those great beings we call goddesses and gods, those who have experienced all that we have suffered all that we have, and have ascended into glory, into immortal life. we see the goddess Mart, she who is the judge, she who is the epitome of justice, and she is a priestess in pure white with long black hair, and she's holding forth the feather of truth. Note, it is not rigid, for it responds to every breeze of new realization. Mart speaks.
A swallow brought news of the death of Osiris to Isis, and so she set forth to save him. Many swallows and all winged creatures live forever. So saith the goddess Mart.
But know that though the body of Osiris was lying in his painted coffin, he himself was wandering through thousands of years of many lives, and so was lost still to Isis, fragmented into those many selves he thought was himself.
Seven scorpions were companions to Isis in her quest. May scorpions and reptiles and all creeping things live forever. So saith the god Set of the cunning hand.
Yes, this is those who many regard as the devil, who was meant to have slain Osiris, the ass-headed god Set, god of Upper Egypt, who as an artist and made this wonderful coffin of thousands of years covered with hunting scenes, scenes of love, scenes of warfare that tempted Osiris. It was in the very shape of the human body. Set is he who draweth us into incarnation, which we must have. But now a gentler figure steps forth. The other son of Isis, he who is to come. He appears as a beautiful youth with a lock of hair upon his brow, indicating the third eye, and he holds his finger to his lips, for Harpocrates is the god of the mysteries. Seldom does he speak, so hearken well.
Isis took the form of a vulture to heal her younger son, Harpocrates, from the poison of the scorpion. May vultures and all creatures of the wild live forever. So saith the god Harpocrates of the mystery of the scorpion.
Now the guardian steppeth forth, no less than Anubis. An earthly priest greeted us at the doorway, but this is the god. He looks so tall and mighty, and he wears the jackal head. He is Psychopompus, Hermes, guide of the souls of the dead. Anubis speaketh.
Dogs-headed Isis in her search for the fragments of the body of Osiris. May dogs and all four-footed beasts live forever. So saith Anubis with the jackal's head.
From the high altar, from the quarter of the east, steppeth forth the most beautiful god. Horus of the horizon, the winged one, son to Isis, he who is god of the new aeon with his divine mother and wife, Hathor. He weareth the head of a golden falcon. Thus spake the god Horus the hawk.
When my mother Isis called up all human beings to help her search for Harpocrates, marsh-dwellers and fishermen gave her aid, and wept with her, and they rejoiced when she healed her son. May marsh-dwellers and fishermen and all humble folk live forever. So saith the god Horus, with the golden eyes of a hawk.
Isis hath a mysterious sister, who weareth the moon upon her head, goddess of all enchantments. She is Nephthys, wife to Set, and she standeth at the head of the body, the coffin of Osiris, as Isis standeth at his feet. For she is wisdom, and she speaketh.
Isis was found by the royal handmaidens at the well, and she braided their hair and breathed upon them sweet perfumes. May maidens and all children live forever, so saith the goddess Nephthys, friend of departed souls.
Now a beautiful lady standeth forth, so unlike Nephthys. She is the earthly goddess of love, Hathor. Upon her head she holdeth the son of Ra, within the horns of the moon, and she has scented perfumed robes, and holdeth the mirror of Hathor, which shows us the very face of our beloved, and Hathor speaketh.
Queen Macandra of Byblos gave Isis her own child to nurse, and Isis held the child over the flames, and so was he made immortal. May mothers and all men and women live forever. So saith the goddess Hathor of the moon disk held by the cow's horns.
Now another god steppeth forth, and he weareth the ibis head of that wonderful bird that standeth on the Nile. And he is also the god of the ape, and he holdeth therefore a staff with an ape's head upon it. Hearken to Thoth of the lost books of Thoth, which are not lost save to those who are ignorant, and Thoth speaketh.
Queen Macandra gave Isis the tamarisk tree, which held the body of Osiris within the wooden chest of Erika. May the tamarisk tree and the Erika tree and all growing things live forever. So saith the god Thoth with the ibis head, who holdeth the scroll of papyrus.
Now cometh the dance of resurrection. Isis leads it. She is seeking the many parts of the fragmented Osiris from many lives, and she dances. She dances to the east, and all the company follow her, and she danceth to the south, and to the west, and to the north. She encircles the pillars, she encircles the well, she encircles holy shrines of deities. And as she dances, she calls forth the soul of Osiris, lost in Atlantis, lost in Mu, lost in Babylon, lost in Egypt, lost in China, lost in India, lost in Crete, lost in Greece, Hellas, lost in Rome, lost in ancient France, lost in Era, lost in Albion. And as she dances, the soul of Osiris draws unto itself its many parts into one mighty whole, for are we not fragmented into one piteous little life, and the glorious picture of all lives are there for us to draw unto. And we who have etheric vision gaze upon the coffin of Osiris, and we begin to see his many forms appear. A king in Babylon, a slave in Egypt, an artist in Europe, a warrior in Ethiopia, a hero in India, a holy man in Tibet. And we partly discern a modern man. And all these figures begin to merge into one, and behind them we see the form of Isis, Isis in China as empress, Isis as a humble weaver maiden, Isis as Semiramis, Isis a humble Jewish maid, clasping a baby in her arms, upon an ass given unto her by Seth. Isis with the Buddha, Isis as a humble woman scrubbing a floor, Isis in all women, as Osiris is in all men. And the companies sink upon the ground after their search, their dance, and they find their own lost selves, and draw them into harmony. And this harmony may not be found unless the goddess or god is found within, for these many memories are too great for one life. So we feel within us heavenly life, and become whole. Now, you see Osiris with rainbow colours. You see the company with their beautiful auras. But you do not know they see your beauty. For we can only see the beauty of deity in others, not in ourselves, save through the mirror of Hathor. So we honour and respect all beings, for we now see their glory. Feel this. All now stand in a circle around the sleeping Osiris in his mummy case, his own measurement, and they hold their hands with palms facing outwards to empower Isis for what she is about to do. She is not going to resurrect a man. She is going to resurrect a god. The priest declaimeth,
Wise are the deities. The search is ended. Isis hath found Osiris within the tree.
Isis opened the painted chest, and laying her face on the face of her husband, and her heart upon his heart, she kissed him, and she wet his face with her tears. The winged Isis caused breath to enter into the body. And she breathed into his nostrils and his mouth the breath of life. And behold, he lived again.
And all the company cried out, "Hail Isis! Osiris is risen from the dead."
Hail,
Isis! Osiris has risen from the dead. Isis now takes a vessel of water, and now she goes on one knee by Osiris. She removes the veil, and we see that he is awakened. He lives. She sprinkles his brow with water and places her hand on his heart. She now lies upon his body, brow to brow, heart to heart, palm to palm, leg to leg. And the life of Osiris entereth fully into the body of Osiris, awakened as a man, and now awakening as a god. Feel within yourself the breath of Isis, her breath upon your breath, her brow upon your brow, her heart upon your heart, her body upon yours, her palms upon the palms of your hand, for Isis is your mother, for Isis is all mothers, and she hath given you life, and she giveth you now new life within, rebirth into knowledge of your own deity. Awaken! In silence all the company experience spiritual awakening through their own being. All the company make the ancient chant of Isis and Osiris united. Isis, Osiris, Osiris. And as we chant, the chant is taken up by beings from the invisible world, as the spirit of woman and of man, of animals, of birds, of reptiles, of fishes, of trees, awaken into their own eternal life. The priest speaketh.
The miracle is accomplished, and all things are renewed. Osiris is risen from the dead. Glory and praise and thanksgiving be unto Isis, for hers is the palm of victory.
Now we watch. And once again we chant, for this time the word's Osiris, for Osiris is beginning to rise. But then we realize he is now winged, he is Horus, and we chant the ancient chant, Horus, as he rises slowly to his feet. As we chant, Osiris, Horus, rise up, he stands and holds his arms up to the sky, and we see from his aura he is winged. But there's now a stately procession away from the dark dungeon, down the 9 columns, and to the high altar. The priest presents Osiris with a green branch. He speaketh.
Osiris is restored to us. He hath awakened to eternal life.
Osiris looks around him, utterly bewildered. He speaks.
Who are these glorious beings that surround me? I behold my wife Isis, and her sister Nephthys. My brother Set holdeth forth a garment of 12 colours. Horus with the Ochat eye of morning greeteth me, and Hathor of the cow's head gives me the love of the mother. Before me is Mart with the feather of truth. On my right hand is Anubis with the scales of justice, and on my left is Thoth of the hidden wisdom. My brother Hippocrates of the mysteries holds one finger to his mouth, enjoining silence.
All now surround Osiris and plant upon his brow a kiss of recognition, for he is now of the company of the gods, because he knows he is a god. And Isis remembereth she is goddess, and her sister Hathor places upon her head the diadem of Isis, the priestess speaketh.
Let us meditate upon the key of Isis that opens the doors of the upper world of the winged ones, and the doors of Amenti, the underworld where Osiris reigns with crook and winnowing flail.
And the priestess holds aloft the key of life, the Ankh, key to all spheres. But we're aware of a sudden change. We can see the key of life, the Ankh, a loop over a cross, a T shape, shining brilliantly. But we begin to see the company become faded, as if caught in the wisps of incense, the heavy smoke of incense. We see the gods and goddesses, and now they no longer look as gods and goddesses. The deities are withdrawing from those through whom they came. And we watch the priesthood now, divested of hawk's head and cow's horns, their insignia, seated to partake of the holy feast of the mysteries. And we watch and we see that they are being given bread and wine. The priest is giving each participant a piece of bread.
From Osiris take immortal wheat, that your soul may awaken and gain the harvest of many lives.
The priestess now is anointing each brow with water.
From Isis receive the water of life. May you know your immortality.
But now she is only a voice, for we are withdrawing from this holy ceremony, and we only hear the words of the priesthood giving thanks for the deities. We are rising now with the incense through this misty grey castle, now into the darkness of Samhain, of Hallows Eve. We see now all the stars around us as we rise into the sky, above the castle, above the trees. And we too feel we have received the bread of life, the wine of life. But there's something rather odd. You're in another time and place, aren't you? Come back now to your own time and place with me. And remember to drink a glass of water afterwards. And make sure you don't go into traffic for about half an hour. You may feel a bit dreamy. I'd like to introduce you to our priestess Hierophant of Isis of Philae Lyceum from Atlanta, Georgia. The Reverend Debbie Nix would like, as this is the day of her consecration as priestess Hierophant, to give you her blessing on behalf of us all.
May the goddess bless each of you with her infinite wisdom, love, and power. May she guide you through your path and lead you through the light and the darkness of each day. May she fill you with blessings and guide you always.
Right as any time, Fellowship of Isis, Clonigore Castle, Enniscorthy, Ireland. The priesthood taking part were Lawrence Durden Robertson, Steve and Caroline Wilson, John Merrin and Joan Comtesse de Franey. The texts were ancient Egyptian.